Dear Jess, this is Guimerá in the heart of Catalunya. Just the sort of old place Pete's Pans gets excited about. And what better backdrop for a typical old dish of rice with artichokes and mushrooms. But firstly, a spin round Guimerá, which really takes one back in time. I've visited my fair share of medieval towns over the years on Pete's Pans, but I assure you, Guimerá is at the top of my list, but don't tell the tourists. I mean, it's just stunning to see this labyrinth of medieval streets, presumably pretty much as they were hundreds of years ago. The 12th century church of Santa Maria and the 10th century tower lie above the town, from where the views are of particular interest to roofing contractors. Now, if you want a really great, authentic Catalan meal, look no further than this place on the main road below. Truth be known, though, I wasn't expecting much from this place. But then they produced the most exquisite Catalan menu. Rabbit casserole. Escudella, the Catalan national dish of soup with pasta, local sausage and the essential pilota, the meatball. Slowly grilled pig trotters with the roasted veg called escalivada. Heaven. If you can, get hold of the Spanish bomba rice, as this variety holds its structure really well and won't burst, causing a mushy texture. Otherwise, any Spanish short-grained paella rice. Incidentally, I won't be referring to today's rice as a paella, as the cooks from Valencia are very touchy and protective of their paella, which has to be done their way, or it's not a paella. Rice dishes abound all over Spain, not just in Valencia, but just don't refer to them as paellas and you're safe. Simply rice with whatever the main ingredient happens to be. So back to the arroz con alcachofas, back to the rice with artichokes. Probably one of these artichokes will do. It's a great sin to overload a rice dish with bits and pieces. The rice must always remain the star of the show. Logical if you think about it. Now here are the mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms here, but any variety will do. Green peppers and the usual onion, garlic and tomato base. Pimentón, Spanish sweet red pepper powder, paprika will do at a pinch, saffron and a sprig of rosemary if available. Oh, and some homemade chicken stock is underway and should be kept simmering ready for when we need it. Half an onion is chopped up as finely as you can, and half a green pepper is cut up into tiny dice too. Grate half a large tomato and discard the skin. Nice sized pieces of mushroom and thin wedges of artichoke. These are set aside in water with a squeeze of lemon to prevent them from discolouring. Ja ho tenim tot llest. Everything's ready to go. In a very generous puddle of oil that covers the bottom of the pan, onion and peppers, and when soft, the garlic. Seasoning as you go. Now the mushrooms and the artichokes get stirred around for a little while. A small pinch of pepper powder is quickly toasted and followed up almost immediately with the tomato. Let the tomato reduce down well, stirring all the while, and now the saffron joins the mixture. And then the rice. 100 grams per person is the standard measure for Spanish rice dishes. This too is stirred around to toast it just a little, and then the stock is poured over. 2.5 times the grams of rice in millilitres, so 500 millilitres for 200 grams of rice. For the first 5 minutes, keep the water at a strong boil, after which time the pan can either be placed in a very hot oven or turned down a little and left at a gentle boil for the final 10 minutes. Don't even think about stirring it during the final phase. Oh, and do make sure the pan is wide enough. There should only be a thin layer of rice, and certainly never above the bolts on the inner side of the handles. Should the rice dry up too soon, just add a little more boiling stock. When done, cover the pan with a cloth, which I forgot to show in the video, and let it rest for 5 minutes. Rice with winter vegetables. Cooked until the grains are done, yet not mushy or fluffy. Slightly firm to the bite is the key to good Spanish rice cookery. For me then, all too quickly, it's time to leave this medieval museum of a town, Guimerá. But do tune in again and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the next leg of my food pilgrimage around Spain, France and Portugal. Bon profit i fins la propera vegada.